start, man. We go ahead and get started. We got it right now, baby.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Come on.
Why? It's the Porch Podcast. Come on, huh? And it's the Porch Podcast. Yeah, and it's the Porch Podcast. Come on, huh? And it's the podcast. It's episode 74. We back again. Influential illness level. And I'm back again. And I fuck it up my verse because I had that. I don't give a fuck, but I did that. Stop. Let the beat rock. Watch. Let the watch stop. Like a bunny, yo. Trying to get my money, yo. Influential back. And I'm having fun. Look at me. Back in the gun. No, I'm not. I'm just sitting on the porch. Let's get started. Why? It's the Porch Podcast. I'ma put them on their ass. Right. What? And it's the Porch Podcast. Yeah. And I'm let's go. I ain't want to rhyme like the rappers nowadays, man. I ain't feel like rhyming. I ain't need to rhyme. I just could say what I wanted to say.
And I'm going to put them on a... You was doing your thing, though, brother.
Yeah, just turn down a little bit. I don't want you clipping. Just a little bit. Turn your mic down a little. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. It's your boy DJ E, Mr. Influential, and I'm rocking with my brother, man.
Yeah, P Original, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, man. And welcome to episode 74. What we calling this one,
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Out of bounds. You know, we was a little bit out of bounds before this episode started, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good to go now, though. We're good to go now. Hey, man, AE, man. You know, having a conversation with you earlier this week, obviously, which brought us to this topic this week. You know, we all live life a little bit to the limit sometimes, whether we think we playing the baseline too close or, we think we in the field of play or not. Sometimes we go out of bounds. We human, right? We make mistakes, we go out of bounds. And then sometimes, those who we deal with, friends, family, associates, whoever it may be, they go out of bounds, which leads me to the point of understanding you got to know your boundaries, man.
Right.
You got to know your boundaries. You got to know how to stay in the field of play, but then you also need to know what the rules of engagement are while being in the field of play.
Absolutely.
We're going to jump right into this conversation tonight about that more or less than anything else in terms of being out of bounds. We want to talk about how to stay in bounds and how we address things when things seem to be going a little too close to being out of bounds.
We're going to talk to them about how to catch the ball with both feet in.
We're going to catch the ball with both feet in. You know
right.
what I'm saying? We're going to make sure that, we don't let the out of bounds line, become another defender. We're going to talk about how to, make sure
it is another defender.
It is. And that's
but
why
in a positive way.
Right. And that's why we need to respect it. And that's why we need to make sure that we understand what the rules of engagement are.
Right.
All right. So episode 74, welcome back, y'all. We're going to get right into it. Hey.
Yes, sir.
How's your week been so far, my brother?
Well, nobody's been out of bounds.
Okay, good.
So
that's always a plus.
That's always a good thing. Nobody's been out of bounds. Either
always
way, I ain't gonna go out of bounds. I'm gonna just hit the spin move on them, tap boards. Remember I was able to tap boards.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that shit no more. I could never dunk. You know what I mean?
I just told you the other day.
Yeah, I don't know how to tap boards.
About a basketball game I was playing at one time. And the brother thought he had somebody too close out of bounds, and he hit him off.
Yeah.
And the person wound up falling into the front row of the first row of the seats, man.
Yeah.
Remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah. Everybody was laughing.
Everybody was laughing, brother. Even the referee.
Yeah.
Here's where we going with this, right? Here's where I'm going with it anyway. I can't say where you're going with it. In life, I think sometimes we do things, right, unconsciously.
Right.
And before we know it, we create what's known as the new norm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had a conversation with you about this before where in the midst of sometimes creating the new norm, we don't realize the Pandora's box of situations that we open it up for people,
Right.
right? So you get comfortable with calling your significant other out of their name, right?
Mm-hmm.
You say, yo, that's my, that's my B. That's my B, this, that, and the third, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do it so often that you actually wind up hearing your homeboys or whoever you talking to start to refer to your significant other or your whatever that situation is, your relationship,
Mm-hmm.
as your B. And then you hear it and you go, oh, bro, you know what I mean? Just cool out, man. You know what I mean? Now, she got a name.
Mm-hmm.
And that person look at you like you've been calling her everything but a child of God the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
The moment that I say what you say, it becomes a situation that is unacceptable.
Right.
At that point, you feel like if it's you that's comfortable with the situation, that he done went out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
But did you create the rules of engagement unknowingly or unconsciously?
Mm-hmm.
Did some of the things that you do invite that situation?
Absolutely did.
Sometimes when our kids do things or, you know what I mean, you got, like I said, anybody who does anything, we look up and we don't understand. Sometimes we play a role in creating the standard that we at that point, once we get frustrated with it or we feel like they've exceeded the limitations of what they should have did, now they're out of bounds. And now they're trying to figure out, well, what in the world is the problem now? You was cool with it all this time, or it's all right for you. What's good for the goose ain't good for the gander.
Right.
So I got a question for you, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
in regards to that situation.
I'm glad we figured out what was going on. I'm listening, Jay.
Me and you both, brother. Me and you
Yeah.
both. You sound
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? You sound great.
Thank you.
Have you ever been in a situation where you go to say something to someone or you're in a conversation, just like I just recently described, and they go what you would call to be out of bounds? Have you stopped it and corrected it then?
You talking
Or
about
have you
the exact same situation?
At the exact same
Oh no, I don't know.
situation?
Yeah, I've
Or
never.
no, okay, not that, because that's clearly, I know the answer.
Yeah, I've never had
Right,
that.
I would know the answer. Something, similar to that situation, or maybe not that exactly, but something similar to that. How did you address that? How did you reel that situation in? How did you fix that situation before it got to the point where it
Well,
got
I
it
can't
was already out
honestly.
of bounds, but now it's out of
Yeah, I
control
can't
and out of
honestly
bounds?
say that I've been in a lot of situations where a person has been out of bounds, and it pertained to somebody I loved or I cared about. With them, it's always been more so they just might have been out of bounds with me.
Right,
Um,
right.
and I, of course, I'm like, nah, hey man, ho now, respect that. I don't do that to you. Don't do that to me. But it wouldn't necessarily be exactly like how you're saying, because like names and stuff never bothered me. Because like I said, nobody ever tries to go out of bounds with my, now wife or any significant other before that. Like it was never like I've never really dealt with that. I don't
Right.
know. I don't know. I guess I was just blessed in that area. I never really dealt with that. But when it would come to me, I'm trying to think of a time where a person would be out of bounds. It wouldn't be like exactly what you would say. It'd be like, okay, I can remember an incident at work.
Okay.
When I was like, you know, right now I'm not really focused on what's going on because the work day was over. I'm like, I don't really care about what's going on right now at the job or work. Like, I got to focus on myself and my own mind, get my own mind right. And I
Right,
don't,
right. No, I get it.
and I don't think the person, I think the person made the statement. I don't know if they meant that or something different. They was like, that's not important right now. That's all I heard. So I'm like, wait, what? I said, with all due respect, get the fuck out my face, yo. Like so I just instantly, the ball went out of bounds, bitch, and we dove for it, and I still had it out of bounds. It wasn't even about us getting the right. Now I could be completely out and lose every fucking thing right there, but that's how I was. And I'm like, I'm get the fuck out of my face. And then when the conversation came back, you gonna tell me that that's not okay? I got one better for you. So I believe that situation was it. But what you're saying, I mean, that's a great example. You know what it is. But I think so. But I think more so would people be out of bounds with, like we also said in the conversation we was talking about um, boundaries. I think even like something that you didn't experience a lot of, um, because you've been married and been with my sister for a long time, but like in the dating world, like you will often see people step out of bounds and cross boundaries because and not intentionally because you
Yeah.
this is the way that they can see, not necessarily see if they could play you, but what your boundaries are, what your limitations are. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you
Yeah.
would in those things people will end up out of bounds often because what might have been good for the last person may not be good for you, or what. So, but everybody knows what they want. Everybody knows what they're looking for. Some people, no. Let me make that clear. Some people don't know what they want, don't know what they're looking for. They just when they feel it, they know that was what they really was looking for, what they needed. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So out of bounds, being out of bounds is not always a bad thing. Being out of bounds is something that a person can learn from because you
True.
can't understand what a person's boundaries is, one, unless they tell you, but two, they're not going to tell you at times unless you crossed it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
this is
Right.
why these type of conversations that we have right here on the porch is a big deal and a big thing because it's not always it's not one sided. You know what I mean? We try to give you the whole picture of what's going on. You know, um, it's certain forms that just like for example, let's use racism. You got some people that believe some slurs, and I'm not gonna go into detail, aren't aren't racist or too far. You got some people that believe it is, and that's crossing a boundary. Now
Absolutely.
I'm not a fan of any form of discrimination.
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, and that could be sexism, racism, anything. Like I'm not a fan of discrimination. Period.
No, I
But
got you.
sometimes, basically, what we saying is a person may not know they out of bounds until you let them know, like you just said, the rules of engagement. What do I actually accept? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. No. I was gonna say it's funny, right? Like yeah, I usually even touching on the situation dealing with racism and stuff. Like, here's the thing, right? There's always going to be forms of things that are questionable,
Right.
and sometimes the only available argument that a person has is it's built on a situation of racism, right?
Right.
Where I'm not saying it doesn't have a role in it. I'm not saying it doesn't factor into that, but there are times, sometimes, where when people use that, it is a cop out situation.
Right.
It
And
is
it's not
something.
and it's not the answer.
And it's not the answer, and it's really not the solution. It's not even this. You know what I mean? So that's really what matters more than anything else. And it's understanding the rules of engagement of things. I always tell people if you know the obstacles and the things in advance of making mistakes and you still make them, you chose
Right.
to make them,
Right.
right? So that's why I asked the question leading off with this topic, whether or not it was a situation where we may fail to see what role we play in the invitation of it all,
Right.
right?
Right.
So because we know in terms of even if without making this a racism episode, there's things that we can sleep better at night because we charge it to that. Even
Right.
though it's an injustice situation, right? It's wrong. We sleep better at night saying, "Oh, that didn't work out because that person was black.
Right.
That didn't work out because that person was Latin or brown or whatever." As opposed to saying, "Well, no, it was because of the fact that they came in and they didn't fit the part. They weren't in a sense of they didn't have all the intangibles or all the things that would make them qualify for the situation."
Right.
Some people seek refuge in saying that they went out of bounds because of one thing where it may not have anything to do with it at all.
Right.
And then there's other times, right, where
Mhm.
things are done and you invite it, and then you wonder why the scrutiny comes,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was just saying, me, you got to be careful. Like, things seem to run hand in hand, like entitlement. Like, when it comes to situation of boundaries, entitlement is always has a role in it, in my opinion, right? You do something phenomenal. You know what I mean? You get an opportunity in life to do some things. You're going to have people that reach out to you and say, "Oh, I know my spot's secure already." And it's like, I'm not going to say that those people are out of bounds, but what I am going to say is that their entitlement sometimes does put them in a position where, you all right, if you're not out of bounds, you're out of position. Whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't expect things just based on, what you think that I'm just going to give you or what you can just do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So sometimes when that happens and you correct the person on it, they think you out of bounds.
Right.
Oh, that person brand new, or they being brand new now. All of a sudden, because they got this right here, I can't just automatically, I know my spot secure. I say something about it and they question me because I'm not looking at it from the perspective of it being something that it needs to be earned or not need to be treated in a certain way. They think I'm out of bounds and I think they out of bounds. So I
Right.
say, man, sometimes, man, it's about the invitation, and then sometimes it's just about the expectation of what a person thinks, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
So
so basically, what you're saying, and what makes sense about the whole situation is, truthfully, they use that race card as something that's they've seen over and over and over and over again. Like, some people may get upset with me, but sometimes that's why, like, a lot of movies like 12 Years Slave and all these, all the movies that we already know the stories of, you
right,
know, I don't want to see it over and over again.
right,
I'm a strong believer that it's not that I know where I come from, so I ain't got to say, I it can't teach me nothing, but I
right,
already know this story. So if I
right,
already know this story, I don't want you to teach me necessarily a different racist story. What I'm
right.
saying is, these movies is what keeps us in that mind frame.
I agree.
That's why something like Black Panther was such a beautiful film when it came out, because it was showing black folks in royalty.
Right, right, right.
Or why Coming to America, the subliminal message why Coming to America is so funny as a comedy, besides the talents of Eddie Murphy being multiple people and Arsenio going there and doing with him. Besides that, it was showing black folks in royalty. So that was in the 80s. That's something that we expect. That's why that movie in 1988 was my favorite movie, and I was only 7. Because, you know, granted, the first time I watched the Malcolm X movie, like, I still watch X sometimes. I love his story on how strong he was in this, but every time they remake another movie about another, I'm not saying that these generation of people I don't necessarily run to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
When I catch it,
I
I
get it.
catch it.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah, no
mean?
doubt.
You
Absolutely.
know, um, even like, I guess the best one recently was more so probably like Judas and the Black Messiah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Um,
was
I
deep.
I like that one. That was deep. But at the same time, that same story goes on to this day. You know,
Right, right.
not to, again, not to change it, and it's not to change, like, not to make it seem like it's just all about a race thing. But I'm saying that because my man that basically was the Judas went out of bounds, and
Yeah, absolutely
the
did.
thing about it is, he knew he was out of bounds the whole time he was out of bounds.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
some people can be out of bounds and just really don't care,
yeah,
and don't
yeah.
don't
No,
give a
true.
damn, and just
That's
roll with
true.
it and just do these things. So
Yeah,
setting boundaries, I really believe, starts with your own self. Like, we conquer everything. We already know we need drive, determination, and all that type of stuff. But what really gets us results is discipline.
no, no doubt.
Being
Oh,
disciplined.
no doubt. Oh, no
You just
doubt.
you just went through the 75 hard challenge.
Yep.
And you were disciplined not to stop, not to do that. Shout out to DK. DK, yo, watch DK go to the gym 100 days in a row. But I might talk to him on 97 of those days. And maybe 43 of them days, he might be like, I'm tired, man. I don't really want to go to the gym, but I'm going to push myself through it because I got to go. So it's discipline.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
what helps you understand your own boundaries and people to respect your boundaries that you set is being disciplined in them as well. That's a secondary section of the situation. You know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
I think, just to touch on the subject of what you're saying, that people use the race card because it is an easy cop out. And a lot of
It is.
times, I done been in leadership in multiple areas in my life doing different things. And I always pull a person to the side, but let me holler at you, bro. I'm like, I'm not saying what you saying don't make sense. I'm not saying
Right.
what you saying ain't true. But when you make these statements and you start saying all this, why do you
Mm-hmm.
think you really don't see a change? You don't see a change because the moment you start talking that way, nobody's listening.
Mm.
They're no longer
Yeah.
listening because it's like, okay,
Right.
he's the one that just wants to pull the race card. You could
Right.
show. First of all, you know you're a strong black man. You know what you stand for.
Absolutely.
So you stand for yourself and be yourself and know your truth. You can show a person that they can't hit you with the okey doke by setting boundaries
Right. Right.
and
Right.
letting them not
Right.
and let them not cross that line.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
This is
Yeah.
why in my career, certain things, quote unquote, a person. Listen, bro. You ever realize? Okay, because of affirmative action and everything, and you might see one black person in the room. Oh, that's the token black guy. That's the token black girl. You know what I mean?
Right.
But maybe I missed it, and maybe I'm only noticing because I'm black. But have you ever heard anybody label any other race as a token when they're the only one in the room?
No.
Right. It's
No.
because we didn't say that was we didn't even let that be out of bounds.
Right.
We'll let our own people say you're being a token,
That's what I'm saying.
right?
It's
And
so,
and,
yeah.
and but
Yeah.
you believe me,
Yeah.
the other races has heard that. And guess what they doing? They laugh like, damn. In every
Yeah.
situation,
Yes.
they gotta
Yes.
make
Yes.
themselves
Yes.
be look like that they're being shitted on because
Yeah.
of their color of skin. Now, I'm not saying that
Yeah.
it don't happen in the majority of things, because it
Yeah.
does.
It does. But that's one of the times where a win becomes a loss, right?
Right.
Because if that is the case and you are quote unquote known as a token in that situation, the label is internal, right? So it's not
Mm-hmm.
an external thing, it's internal. The
Right.
internal element of it means that inside the race, that's what you're being viewed and referred to as a token.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of it, the win is we got our, you know, token. So
Mm-hmm.
now we should be out of the way of being questionable or being out of bounds
Right.
in terms of what's accepted in society,
And that's
in the
exactly
business
what it.
world, and all that.
That's exactly what the token situation means. But
Right.
at the same time, the moment you accept it to be the token,
Mm-hmm.
you're only doing that if you accept the fact that you are the token, or you could say, I'm in here to make a difference for me. Fuck
Right.
changing the whole complexity and the complexion of the whole situation that I'm the only black person in or the first black
Understand.
person in.
Yep.
I'm here to get
Yep.
mine right quick, even if
Yep.
this person, so I could take mine to create my own, and then if I could turn around and steal all the knowledge that I just stole from them, I could make my own situation. Listen, we often make the statement that Christopher Columbus stole America, right? Stole the whole country. Let's keep it real. I'm not. That's what he did. He stole the whole country, and he took credit for it. But he was smart enough to steal it and make it seem like it was his own. So instead of us fighting to be accepted with them, get your knowledge and get what you could get to make your own. That's all I'm saying.
Right. So, the whole situation with the out of bounds element of it, in terms of it with our own race and people, is something that we got to work on. We just got to
Right?
work. We got to simply just work on it. Like I said, I've seen it. I've seen people work extremely hard. of the African American race, and people with right within their their family and their bloodlines turn around and say, well, that person think they better than them, and they think that you being out of bounds. They think that you out of bounds of the of what the normal circumstances are. They think that you want to, you're better than everybody else. Everybody else is on one side of the line and you're on the other. You know, we got to just get better. There's no other way around it. And like we touched on earlier, in terms of it being a cop out or an easy explanation, we're not saying that it's not accurate. I'm not. I'm not going to say that that's not
Let's
accurate.
make that clear.
It's just, yeah, there's some accuracy in that. But what I am going to say is even if that is the case, then why stop there, right? If that is the case, you know what I mean. A lot of times we talk about different people, head coaches in the NFL. The black coach don't get the opportunities that some of the other races of coaches don't get. I've said it a bunch of times. What are we going to do? We either going to try to blur the lines, or we're going to either cross the lines or create our own lines, right? Because no matter what, people are going to always feel like at some point or another you're out of bounds.
Right.
No matter what. If you do more than you're expected to do, even by the other races, right? Just using that for an example. They will even say that you're out of bounds of what, quote unquote, that particular group of people is supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. Right.
If you look up and you speak a certain type of way, or you move a certain type of way, or you live in a certain area or a certain place, they will turn around and say, you out of bounds. You don't got no place here. Why you here? Or why you live out there? Or why you live way over there? What you trying to get away from all your people? So you're consistently always dealing with that kind of situation. And that's why I was talking about the situation of boundaries. And even within this concept of your family, your friends, there's boundaries where people will turn around and make statements like, you know what I mean? Don't forget where you came from. And it's like, it's not about where I came from. It's about, because I experienced that already. It's about me creating opportunities to open up the door for other people, regardless of race or any of that stuff, to come through and do what they need to do.
Right.
That's the thing. So we gotta work on the boundaries thing. We gotta work on the expectations thing. We gotta work on, the crabs in the barrel type of situation. All of these things being considered, they all come back to the same thing. One person or another thinking that somebody else is out of bounds.
Flag on the play.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And before we get too much deeper into the conversation, because we rolling on this one, I want to talk to y'all about an event planning company. That's a one-stop full-service event planning company. Whatever the event may be, hey, E, let them know who it is, bruh. Look, check it out. Let's get that stress off your plate, all right? Got that big event coming up, and you don't want to have to do all the work. I got a company for you, full-service event company, that's going to take care of all of your event planning needs. That's www.fncevents.com. A full-service event planning company. Take all the stress off your head, kick back, and enjoy the party. Once again, that's www.fncevents.com. Head on over there, get that party booked, and get it done. Back to the show. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Front and center events.
And so, E, I want to say this right about the out of bounds thing too, man. I thought about it a little bit. Quick break. I'll say this: the Oscars, the situation with T.I.
What's
the date. I'll break that down in a second. Dave Chappelle situation.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
All these things have one major thing in common. Somebody was out of bounds.
Right.
Somebody was out of bounds. You know what I mean? If you already lived and understand what each one of those experiences was, the T.I. thing, I think you remember what it is at this point. If not, though, it was a situation where a person was telling a joke. It was about T.I. and Tiny. T.I. wasn't feeling the situation. Basically, you know what I mean, had another microphone, interrupted the situation, and basically said that he was going to do that every time that comedian started to try to tell those jokes, because he felt as though those things were slander, and he thought that they were not truthful. And this is what he was saying. They were allegations. And I made a video about the concept of it being too much, especially when, I said the T.I., you're supposed to be a rapper who also operates in the comedy world.
Right.
The person's telling jokes. You do this. You can't feel that way. That's like a person that's a boxer or a person that's a rapper that turns into a boxer. He get hit with a body shot and say that the person hit me too hard. You knew what you was walking into when you got involved in that situation.
Right.
And now you're overstepping that, you're exceeding that. And in my opinion, every one of those situations had something in common, and it was that they were out of bounds.
Yeah, they were.
There was always somebody that was out of bounds.
They was out of bounds, and the shit, and it was a penalty.
Yeah, flag on the play.
Flag on the play. That was a technical foul.
Yeah, man.
You know.
And so I just think that there's times that those things.
But
We
here's
gotta
something.
address it. We gotta
But here's
address it.
something that's. I agree with you that they were all out of bounds. But this is what's so good about this thing in life called choice, and as well as perception. It's a lot of people who believe, especially with the Oscar situation, that Will wasn't out of bounds. Remember, we had this discussion, this conversation. A lot of people believe that Will wasn't out of bounds, and me and you already said we agree that he was. You know, I don't think it was the time. I think he could have very well addressed it, even if he addressed it the exact same way, but he ain't have to do it on stage for the world to see. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's what makes me think, and it makes me ask this question: can you remember a time where somebody may have said to you, "P, you a little out of bounds," but you felt justified for it?
So, wow. I mean, it's on the fly thinking, obviously. Here's what I will say, because I know I'm not perfect. I know it happened. It's not even a situation of whether it happened. Now it's more or less me trying to recall when it happened. Because I'm not perfect. And I know I was a person that operated a lot off of emotion.
Well, you answered the question. I asked you, can you
What's that?
recall or remember a time? You saying it happened, but you just can't pinpoint it. So you answered it
I'd be sitting up here,
all night.
keeping it not keeping it real with myself, knowing how much I have moved off of energy and emotion, like you say, bruh. Emotion, period. There's no growth. There's no growth without admission. You know what I'm
Carl
saying?
Thomas,
Yeah.
Carl Rainey.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm emotional, and
know
I
what I'm saying?
can't let go.
Hey, right. I mean, it happened. I can't sit up here and act like it didn't. You know what I'm saying? But no, I mean, I'm going to say this. In hindsight of everything that transpired in my life and everything that we're talking about today, there has been times where, I was too emotionally invested in situations and did go out of bounds. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, we all are.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm guilty of that. You know what I mean? And to me, by recognizing that situation, it's a correctable act. You know what I mean? But I'll say this. I just recently had a situation. Something happened at the school. Here we go again. Okay? Something happened at the school. Me being who I am, I addressed it. I've learned in life, right? Because since we're talking about being out of bounds, I've learned in life that I write exactly how I speak.
Or me too.
I write exactly how I speak, right? That's a problem for me, though, because of the fact that at that time, you know how people, they say they got some different techniques that you should use. They say when people get ready to write letters or do certain things, they should take a step, back, breathe for 10 seconds or do whatever they need to do before they start writing, because they can gather their thoughts and their emotions, and their energy is not the same in it, so it's better for them, right?
Right.
Okay, I ain't there yet. I'm still trying to get there. But it's better for me to write than to speak, because I can't pull back the words once they come. I can, write that, throw it away, get rid of it, rewrite it, whatever. I wrote this letter in a response to a situation that I was not comfortable with in school. One of my girls, okay, with my youngest. And I had my oldest daughter, who I call my I guess you would call assistant chief editor. You know what I mean? Because my wife is my chief editor. You know, Peach gonna turn around. She gonna be like, no, that ain't. Nah, babe, don't say it like this. You need to, clean this up, make it smoother. And she's, she know how to get you with the Ginsu knife and it be clean. So she went home. So I had to go to, the assistant. And she cleaned me up real nice on the situation. The point I'm trying to make in that is at that moment, right, I knew that it had to be addressed. But as opposed to me doing it from a perspective where I would have been out of bounds, I was intelligent enough to know to say, okay, write it in your emotional state. It's cool. Write it. Now give it to somebody who's not in an emotional state and let them fix that situation, right? Let them, don't turn this in. Don't, because I know right now you're writing it out of your emotional state. Give this to someone else
Like
who's
Kevin Hart
not
said,
emotionally
you gonna
invested.
smack me, bitch? Like that.
Right there. Right there. Very good example.
Right.
Give it to somebody who's not. And then let them clean that up.
Right.
It was a much better response to the situation that I had an issue with. That's growth. That's growth for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can speak to that. In the past, wasn't there. I needed to grow. And I'm admitting that. So that's why this conversation is so fitting tonight as we're having this discussion. Because had I not grown, it wouldn't have been great. It wouldn't have been a good thing. You know what I mean? So because of that, and because I had to kind of look at myself and where I am and some of the things that I did in my own history and my own past and all those things, I'm growing now. I'm growing. I still need the assistance of others. Don't get me wrong. I still need somebody to be there. You do that sometimes, Z. You know what I mean? Peach do that a lot. You know what I mean? Link do that. Like I still need that because I'm a lot more. I'm still triggered, but it's getting better. So
Right.
great conversation about that one, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Enough about what I do. You know how I do. You know me. You know how I respond. What do you do? E? How do you? It's kind of like the same question I asked you earlier, but this time with a little bit of a twist. Somebody has pissed you off. Let's just take it there, right?
Right.
They've pissed you off. They're not physically there right there at that moment. So I know your initial response if they're there. How do you address that? How do you address that? Somebody, it's not even a person that you work with. Let's just say you're doing an event and you get ready to do this event and boom, somebody pisses you off based on, I don't know, whatever the issue is. How do you address that professionally?
And those type of majority of the people who piss me off, calm when I'm talking to them about it because of the simple
Go to
fact.
yourself.
Because of the simple
Go to
fact of I don't need to get this off right at that moment. So what it does, it gives me a time to think and address them, whether I see them or the next time I talk to them. The only time I ever was the type of person that was calling a person right away or felt like I had to talk to a person right away is when I was in a relationship, some of a sort. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh nah, I got to let her know right now. This ain't how this shit gonna go. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is, truth of the matter is, it's more so about, P Original getting his drink together. I know what my brother doing. I ain't even got to look at him. I know what he doing. Cause he's out of bounds right now. Like the motherfucking volleyball net. Like, you know what I mean? That's what he
You
doing.
miss me, man. You be missing me, man.
Huh?
You be missing me, man. You be missing me. Yeah, I know you be missing me, man. I'm back, man. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what I was saying is,
I'm
I
back, brother.
address them. I pretty much a lot calmer because I address them when I see them. I don't like doing that over the phone
I'm back.
because or over the phone later when I'm calm down because it can get me. It can definitely get me. Yeah, I heard you. I was just,
Yeah, nah, get you. Go ahead. I'm listening.
you know what I mean? But that's
Yeah,
pretty much.
but I asked you. Do you know why I asked you that? E, because listen. For those who don't know, you know what I mean. E is one of the nicest, nasty people y'all gonna ever meet in your life. Okay, he's one of your nicest, nastiest people. Nasty not in the sense like don't wash his hands after you use the bathroom. I mean nasty in the sense of not to cut you, and you don't even remember when the blade hit you. You know what I'm saying? Very tactful. I'm not gonna tell all your business and all that, but E is very good in that. I asked that question, E, because when you are that type of person, people don't believe that you have a hot button, right? They don't believe that you have an out of bounds because it's less likely to be seen. Make sense, right? And if you standing next to, fire, which okay, let's compare me and you. Like you gonna see it instantaneously, and it's not a good thing. So the reason why I bring that up is because it's when somebody rock you and you don't even know that you've been rocked until it's too late. It's a different situation. Like E, you gonna get the last laugh. You the DJ. You know what I'm saying? You the DJ. You gonna get the last laugh. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense for you to do anything to jeopardize your business. But at the end of the day, you already know your value and your worth, right? So you know not to even lose your stuff. You keep it together. You do what you need to do. You make sure your powder level's right, which is probably the best way for you to handle it.
Yeah, well, mine's is always low because I don't mess with it. Oh, I don't mess with
sure?
that. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they called you Mr. Skip. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Yeah, but yeah. You need that rent paid, right? All right. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Shout out to D Young, man. Shout out to
D Young, man, with Mr. Skip. That's super funny,
Mr.
man.
Skip.
Yeah.
But what I'm gonna say is this, man. The situation with being out of bounds. To reiterate it, the question I had mentioned earlier. How much of it is something that we introduce by behavior, and how much of it is built on what do they call it? Not expectation, but what's the entitlement in your own? Like, how much do you think is built on that? How much do you think is built on what you train a person to do? Like Mom used to say, you train people all the time how to treat
you train a person how to treat you, and at the
versus expectation.
Well, that's the thing. They tie in together, and maybe sometimes that's why I don't lose my cool no more because I had lost expectations for a lot of people. Different things in life that's made me happy, and people still to this day, still don't believe that I don't have a lot of expectations for people, but with people or certain things, and I'm not saying I don't have any.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But
right.
It's not as high as people like to think it is. And if people really know me, just really know me, and you talk to me on a regular basis and just think about and listen to who I am. Just honestly think about how many times I ask you for anything.
I was going to say, E, you could break that down, right? Because
Right.
I've heard you. Me and you've had sidebar conversations, obviously, about it. Break it down like when the cameras is off and the microphones is off when you talk to me, bruh. When you say you don't have expectations, the reason why I want you to do that, bruh, because I know you're not alone. I know
Right.
you're not. I want the people to hear you say exactly what you mean.
The only
So that is not
expectation,
speculation.
I ever have is more so of what we've been talking about. Out of bounds. Just don't go out of bounds with me. And when the reason
There
why
you go.
what I mean about not go out of bounds with me, and the only expectation is I have is I don't disrespect people.
Come on.
So don't disrespect me because I don't disrespect anybody.
Come
Now,
on.
when I say I don't have expectations, because I do something for you, I don't assume you're going to do it for me. Well, it doesn't mean that you have to do it for me. You know what I mean? All I need you to do is respect me. It's a difference between praising me and respecting me. Every man likes their ego boost. Don't get it wrong. And when I mean man, I mean mankind. I'm not just talking about male. I'm talking about mankind.
Right.
Your woman go get her hair done. She get a new hairstyle or something come in and you say, "Ooh, baby, that look nice." You like it? They happy that you like it. Now, they may turn around and make the same statement. I ain't give a fuck if you ain't like it or not. I like it. But truth of the matter, they care.
Come on.
That's why they make that statement. You see
Come
what I'm
on.
saying? When a person comes back, that's nothing but a defense mechanism of them saying that they really don't care. Is they do care.
Because if you don't say it, you out of bounds.
You out of bounds, right? Because it's
Come
like,
on.
damn,
Come
like
on.
you ain't nigga, you ain't noticed I got my hair done, or you ain't. Yeah, I noticed. See what I'm saying? But what I mean by the expectation is, if I give you $20 and just off the whim, like, oh yeah, you look like you need some money. I don't expect you from time to time to come to me to say, oh, you look like you need $20.
Right.
At that time, I'm just being a
Right.
blessing.
Right.
Let me ask you
Right.
this. Give you a perfect
What's that?
example. You
Hmm.
you going in the store,
Okay.
and every time you go in the store, you may have an unfortunate person outside asking for change.
Okay.
Some of them may ask you the question. They used to say, "Hey, buddy, you got a dollar I can borrow?" Listen to the word.
I've heard that. I've definitely heard that. Okay.
But you ever sit to think and say, when I see him tomorrow, if he back out here, is he gonna give me my dollar back? He said
Nah.
borrow.
I mean, now good point. Nah, I haven't.
He said, no, I'm serious. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
laugh. I'm not laughing at him. I'm not laughing
I'm
at.
no.
Right,
I mean, I'm just going off of what you said. No, I've
right.
never thought it.
Then
Yeah. Wow.
you may turn around and you go into a store and somebody say, "Hey, buddy, when you come out, you got some change that you can spare."
I've heard that as well. Yep. Yep.
Now, the one who asked me, "Do I have something that they can spare?"
Uh huh.
I often give it to them.
Right.
The one that say borrow, I know you're
Right.
not. I know you're not trying to give it back to me. You don't even know me to borrow something from me.
Right.
Now,
Right.
that doesn't mean I'm absolutely right. That's just my
Right.
theory and my logic behind it.
Right.
However, some people have this expectation that I should be able to turn around and ask him for $1 one day because I gave it to him. Now, I'm not saying everybody's like that, but it's some people that got that theory and that train of thought in their mind. But here's the thing: for
Wow.
perfectly able people that are able to do things, if I do something for you, I don't expect you to do it for me.
Right.
Because
Right.
the reason why I don't expect you to do it for me, because if you don't, and I put myself up high waiting for you to do it, and you never do it, I'm not doing nothing but letting myself down. Because you
You
never
just
had the
explained it.
intentions,
You just
and I can't
explained it.
and I can't control you.
My
I
man.
can't control you. I can only control
My
me.
man.
So
That's my
if you
man.
ask me to bless you for something and help you with something, and I help you with it, no, I don't expect you to help me with something when I ask you next time. It would be
Right.
nice.
Right.
But what I
Right.
do expect you to say to yourself, you ain't even got to announce it to the world, is that when I needed E, he was there for me. I will always have respect for that man.
Bruh.
That's all I
And
need.
that
Because
and
I
that's
don't
the
disrespect
explanation that
people.
I want you. No, and that's what I wanted you to say because you know what? To add to it before we get to this week's, I believe it's. Let me make sure before
Yeah.
I say the wrong
We
thing.
don't know. You know what I
Before
mean?
before we get into would you rather,
Would you rather? Okay.
before we get into that,
Right.
what I'm going to say is this: you explained exactly the reason why. You see why I asked you to explain it with the cap off? Not
Right.
that you ever put a cap on it, but what I mean by that situation is that people get caught up in terms. And how
Right.
you explained in your analogy where a person presents the situation, say, hey, brother, or, whoever it may be, you got $1 I can borrow, how that terminology is different from a person who says, hey, bro, when you come out, you think you got some spare, got any change that you could spare. When it comes to a situation like that, people don't believe it, and we keep saying all the time, there is a way that you say things that create things, right? We
Mm-hmm.
talk about this from the perspective of being out of bounds or being in bounds or the rules of engagement and all of these different things. The reason why me and you would be obligated or feel obligated to, at the very least, entertain what they're saying, whether we can or cannot give them something, is because it does matter to us
Right.
what they're saying.
Right.
I'll hear you because the change that I give you, I've already made the decision the moment that you started speaking on whether or not I was going to give it to you. really, it almost, as long as you don't disrespect me or the family or anything like that, the minute I saw you, I already started to make that decision that I was going to give it to you.
Right.
The moment. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, with that being said, it's not out of bounds if
No.
that person says to me or you, yo, is it, you got $1 I can borrow? Because it would be mind blowing if you saw that person the very next day and he turned around and say, hey, bruh,
Here go that
here
dollar.
go that $1
Right.
that you let me borrow yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, when you say things like that, the people, the next thing you know what they say, eh?
Right.
Well, what's the odds of that happening?
Right. Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right. And that's the truth.
That's the truth. I'm not arguing that.
Right.
But that's how people think.
Right.
And that to them would be out of bounds if that person returned $1 that they asked you the day before if they could borrow.
Now, here's the funny thing. If I seen this person on a daily basis and they asked me to borrow $1, I would probably give it to them. But I'm talking about a complete stranger that I ain't never seen. I know I'm not in this area no more or nothing.
Right.
You're not borrowing something for me. You want me to give you something.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
You know, I used to, man, like Kiss said, you seen guys with a, why lie, I need a beer or something. You know how many times I done been walking liquor store to do like, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, I need a beer. Come on, brother. And I bought it for him. I'm not saying I'm blessing him with a beer. Let's make this clear. But his words held weight because he was being honest and he told me what he wanted.
That's right.
I'd rather, guess what? That $2-3 beer I might just bought him might have saved him, somebody from getting their purse snatched, getting busted upside the head, anything. Yeah. All I'm saying is in the long run, my brother, because if we're going to run into each other again, and I've done that out of respect, they don't ask me for something every time they see me. They like, oh no, he blessed me already the other day. I'm not going to ask him every time. Yeah. And that's the type of energy I've always got back in those situations, man.
Yeah, and you don't want to say that because guess what, E? If you overstep your bounds and try to predict what went on or try to say what went on in his life,
right?
You being out of now at that point you being out of bounds,
right?
You know how many times you done found out the history about somebody that you saw and they say, yo, man, he used to be the man back in the day, yo.
Right.
Well, she was the man, yo. He was on top, man. Yo, he had this going on in his life. He fell on hard times.
Right.
But if I turn around and I judge him based on his current state versus what took place, then who's out of bounds then?
Right. That's why I never used to be like, hey, man, get a job. I'd be like, yeah, brother, I ain't got it. Or, I was using my card that day. Like the other day, somebody asked me, hey, man, when you come out, if you got some change, I said, you know what, bro, I'm using my card. I do have $1 bill. And I gave him a $1 bill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I said, man.
And I watched him buy coffee with it. That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying?
You don't know. It's the difference. Dumb things like that, something as simple as that can lead you to pass judgment on a person, could literally put you in a position where you out of bounds.
Right.
Hey, man, let's get into it. This week's episode of Would You Rather, my brother.
Welcome to this week's Would You Rather. Would you rather us do this or that, or would you rather we do Would You Rather? Either way, whatever you rather, you're going to get what we give you. Let's get to it, P Original.
Let's go. Welcome to another week and another episode of Would You Rather, where I ask E a series of questions and eventually I get an answer. Let's get right into it. Would you rather do karaoke or watch karaoke performances? You're a DJ. I know you done did it all.
All depends on what mood I'm in, You
drunk.
Oh, I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm in. I done did before I let go. Frankie Beverly and May. I done did that. Before I let you
go. Okay. Would you rather your daughter had no friends or too many friends?
Depends on my daughter. What I mean by that?
Your oldest.
No. Well, what I mean, if I'm using my kid, she definitely doesn't have too many, but it's not that she don't have any. See what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
So she can have a lot.
Okay.
My oldest can have a lot because she's her.
Right.
That's why I said it depends.
Fair enough. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's why I said depends on my daughter. Like When I said it, I didn't mean which daughter. I'm just saying,
Right.
like, technically, it depends. I'm trying to open broadly, but if I'm using my actual, my oldest, she can have a bunch because she her regardless. She ain't worried about nothing else nobody else doing.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Would you rather spend money on new clothes or new shoes?
Shoes.
Fair enough. Would you rather date someone slim or someone with a lot of flesh? That's funny how they said that.
How's the head? How's the heart?
Yeah, exactly. Good point. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if you slim or or slim thick, extra meat. Don't really, not the biggest fan of the hook stuff. I'm not saying I won't squeeze a hook, but I'm not the biggest fan. In my day, I've seen it. I'm the biggest fan with the meat hook. And everybody with meat hooks can't cook. That mean they can eat. You know what I mean? Sometimes. I love them all, though. I love everybody.
Got you. Would you rather sleep on your back at night or on your stomach?
Side.
Right, because that's not an option, but that's exactly what you feel like saying. Out of bounds. Out of bounds, dog. Out of bounds. You know what I mean? Would you rather make a lot of money at work or get a lot of vacations from work?
A lot of vacations from work. Cause here's the thing, I ain't trying to go nowhere where I can't enjoy myself. And life is really about enjoying myself, man. There's so much going on in life, man, that, we had people, rest in peace, not rest in peace, but please pray for the people in Buffalo. You know what I mean? At the supermarket today.
Absolutely.
Pray for the kids in that elementary school in Texas. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
yo.
Yeah, so it's like,
absolutely.
I like to have fun, man.
Okay. All right. Would you rather eat fruits or blend and drink fruit juices?
What you mean, eat fruits and blend, you said? What you mean?
Like you eat the fruits whole, like if you eat an apple, pear, whatever fruits, whatever whole, or would you rather blend them and drink them like?
Oh no, I'd rather eat them whole.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more of a whole food type person.
Absolutely. Would
I
you
eat
rather
whole fruit now?
Well, that's great. Keep that. It's good. Most of the time, you get a lot of fiber and a lot of those things, which at this stage and age in our lives is good for your dietary.
Right.
Yeah, it's good for your dietary system. Would you rather do without your phone for a month or without your laptop for a month? Now, before you answer that, let me say this to y'all. Y'all gotta factor in with E. He makes money with both. He makes money with both, whether it seems that way or not. I am definitely all ears on this one. Which one could you do with? Would you be able to would you rather do without for a month?
Phone.
Smart.
Never said,
but I knew
you never said I couldn't carry my laptop around.
No, you can definitely listen. It's one or the other. I don't care what you do with it. You just can have one or the other. All right.
Because you know what?
Fair enough.
I can still go on the laptop. I'm going to have the internet with me. Still FaceTime my family. Still get all my messages on Instagram and Facebook. Still check my emails. That's how people don't call for gigs. And even if they did, I could do Facebook. I could do FaceTime audio if they got an iPhone. So I'm still rocking.
Okay. Fair enough. Would you rather have friends who are much smarter or friends who are much more better looking?
Smart.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because honestly, intelligence is attractive.
Absolutely. You know what they say too? If you're the smartest person in your circle,
you're in the wrong circle.
You're in the wrong circle. And you ain't going nowhere.
Right.
All right. Would you rather be an expert at one thing or have general knowledge of a lot of different things?
I think you've asked me this before. But I think general knowledge in a lot of things. Because if I'm just be honest, broad, I gotta answer on both sides. If I'm gonna be general knowledge, I'm gonna find experts in everything that I'm involved in, even if I have general knowledge to a person's not getting over me. If I got general knowledge, I'm gonna find experts. I don't have to be have to know all of it to be in charge. And I'm not necessarily feeling like I got to be in charge, but people get rich by having money in multiple things. You know, E40 invested in a lot of startups, but not an expert in these startups.
Right.
But his money flows because of that. Now, if I'm an expert in something, I'm gonna be an expert in financial literacy.
Yeah.
Because then I'm gonna find a bunch of people with general knowledge to lead me to experts in these other companies, and I'm gonna invest in them, and I'm still gonna end up rich.
Right.
So there's no wrong answer for me on that.
I always say this about you, E. You are always you're comfortable with the long game, right?
Yeah.
Like you got this thing where I'm definitely more of an instant gratification person. I'm definitely I need to see it immediately. You know what I mean? So I've always admired you for that. Okay. Would you rather get a loan to start your own business or earn a lot of money working someone else? Working for someone else, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna work for somebody else to fund my own separate assets. I'm amazing, man. I'm amazing.
Hey, yo. The name of this episode is Out of Bounds.
Yeah.
What I'm going to tell y'all about E is this, right? E, that guy you slide the contract to, and he goes, and there's 2 boxes on there. And the 2 boxes are yes and no. And E reads the question and goes, I'm just going to write maybe underneath it. And they go,
Nah.
sir, there's a reason why there's 2 boxes there. You know what I mean? It's yes or no. You know what I mean? And you go, well, it's not really yes or no for me. And they go, we'll call you.
Let me explain
So
something for you. The reason why I'm this way because most of the successful people in this world have became successful. It's because they learned the loopholes. I don't give a damn what it is. It's a loophole in it. The thing about the loophole goes back to exactly what you just said, bruh. You got to play the long game. Because the loophole can't give you instant gratification. It's like you playing chess, not checkers. You can't come right in and boom, checkmate, unless you got your guard down. Sometimes when people make it so easy and so black and white, it's either yes or no, red pill or blue pill. You're going to always feel like you should have picked the other one the moment it was something you didn't like. But you got a lot of entertainers who signed contracts because they wanted to be a star, not realizing what they signed and became robbed later. We'll be raping you. But then you got some people. I came into this game 100,000 strong, 9 to be exact, from grinding G-Packs. Like Jay-Z said, I came into this motherfucker knowing what I'm doing. I wanted to do a deal. They didn't want to do a deal. Now it's not a secret that he's richer than a lot of these people. And everybody followed a blueprint of what he did and what Diddy did and what these people did because they ran with the loopholes. So it's hard for me to be a would you rather or this or that person when I know everything has a loophole. Except life or death. That's it. You can't be almost dead or almost alive.
Right.
Yeah. So that's it.
Right. Okay. So maybe we should name this maybe we name this segment.
What would he do?
Would you rather? And maybe there's an in between. You know what I mean?
Nah. What would he do?
I mean, nah, because that takes away from it. Because now it's just too broad. What would he do if it's like, you know what I mean? Like the whole concept of would you rather?
You know why I P? Because if I answer, you always got a smart dummy come back. But what happened if you did do this? Like, nah. I want you to know you ain't getting me with that.
That's good, man.
Not
Sometimes
you.
it's
I'm
good.
talking about the
No,
viewers.
no, 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 no. I understand. I mean, sometimes it's good to just, people gonna spec. No matter what your answer is, a person gonna critique it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can give them like everything you just broke down made all the sense in the world.
I do my critiquing for myself. I'm not letting them critique
Exactly.
me.
So everything that they gonna still do it.
Yeah,
You
I ain't
ain't
saying
getting
they
around
can't.
it.
I ain't saying they can't,
Yeah.
but that shit don't
Yeah,
mean
no,
nothing.
Cause well,
Right.
what if you did? But what if the blow got in your hands and you like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, nah.
I know the blow will get in my
Exactly.
hands if I passed it to somebody.
You know what I mean? You know how to do, man. Keep them guessing, man. Last
Yeah.
but certainly not least, man. Would you rather be really fast, be a really fast writer, or a
Hold
really
on. The
fast
laugh
reader?
that they laughing too hard. Would I rather what?
Would you rather be a really fast writer or a really fast reader?
Writer.
All right. Fair
Writer.
enough, brother. That's the
Yeah,
last one I
writer.
have
I
for
think
you,
I'm gonna
man.
just tell you why writer because that's more of a that can become an asset. So then you can see that instant gratification that can go for longevity, like you said. That's why I said writer.
I don't see how one doesn't automatically initiate the other. How about that?
Now he sounds like me. This
I don't
was it. This was another episode of Would You Rather. Would you rather me sit here and give y'all some regular answers like, yeah, I'd do that? Would you rather me sit here and rock with your brain? Make you think from this way, that way, and all the other ways? Or would you rather me talk like Mr. Skit? Yeah. Yeah, then that's it. Shut the fuck up then, bitch. Ah.
Hey, man.
Oh,
Hey,
man. This is the Porch Podcast, yo. We like to have fun, man. Listen, man, we just want to thank y'all for tuning in with us. This is a good episode, man, called Out of Bounds, man. Out of Bounds, man. Out of Bounds.
Hey, man. Make sure you guys, man. Make sure y'all stay in bounds. We appreciate y'all staying in bounds with us each and every week, whether it's through any of your favorite podcasts and streaming sites, or obviously if you want to watch us and get your laugh on YouTube. Favorite podcast and streaming site, whatever it may be. I don't care if it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, you know what I'm saying, Amazon Music, help me out, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, Overcast
Audible.
Radio. We can say it again, Audible, whatever you've been checking it out on. Red Circle.
Red Circle.
However you've been checking it out. Make sure you download. Share it. As we say each and every day. Every day, I'm sorry. Wow. Bugging out of bounds.
Every day.
Every day. As we say each and every week. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Make sure you leave comments. We love to talk to y'all. Talk to us, baby. We like to, interact with the brothers. I mean, with those who are watching their favorite brothers from the porch. Right. Hey, E, what you got going on, man? How you want to finish it up, baby?
I just want to say thank y'all, man, and make sure y'all stay rocking with us, man. This is the Porch Podcast, man. You know what I mean? Each and every Thursday.
Every week. Every Thursday, man. What time they come on Thursday night, see? What time is it going to be dropping?
7 p.m.
What time they going to be? Well, they're going to be up early. It's going to be out. For those who want to listen to it, like we say all the time, if you can't watch and you can listen, it'll be up earlier. The audio version of it always comes out early. Compliments of the early riser, my brother.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, it's been another great episode, man. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all, and we look forward to seeing y'all next week. Y'all be safe, man.
All right, now.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Peace.